I'm Weston. I love talking about the Astros, and today I am previewing the ALCS Astros versus Rays best of 7 winner takes the AL pennant series that's starting tomorrow at 6:37 Central Time, at 7 Eastern Time. And boy, the Astros are right where they need to be. At the start of the season, I don't believe I ever said it verbally in a video, but I really believe that the mass of Astros fans and of reasonable baseball fans said, okay, Astros, you want to make it better, you want to make it right, you want to avenge yourself, go win the World Series. Going into it, in my eyes, we had one goal, and one truly acceptable goal, which was win the World Series. Now granted, that was before Greinke kind of lost his stuff at the end of the year, before Alvarez was out for the year, before Osuna was out for the year, before Verlander was out for the year. So throughout the season, my goal it kind of changed. I am happy of where we are currently. We have been dynamite this postseason. We are 5-1. We are just kind of rolling through our teams. Now granted, the Rays are not that far behind us. They are 5-2. They just finished a big series with the Yankees. They beat them in 5. The Rays are an incredible team. And, well, the last few preview videos, the Twins preview, I was very confident. I thought for sure we can beat the Twins. The A's, I thought it was maybe 60-40 our favor. I thought we had a really good chance, but it wouldn't have shocked me if we lost either. This one is the first one where I feel like the Rays really have the edge. I'm an Astros fan. That is obvious from everything around me. I love the Astros, but my goodness gracious, the Rays just kind of outclass us in almost every real category. They have a fantastic starting staff. They have a fantastic bullpen. They have a fantastic lineup. They're just really, really good. Their team ERA is 3.56. They're just sort of the toast of the AL right now. If you look at just their pitching staff, they are second in ERA, third in walks, second in strikeouts, third in runs. They are incredible. There's no real other way to put it. Bill James and Billy Beane look at the Rays and just kind of smile. They are the sabermetrics love. As a stat nerd, I respect the heck out of the Rays. They are really good. And they've built it with nothing. They beat the Yankees in a 5-game playoff series on a payroll, I believe, of $74 million, and the Yankees had $248 million. The Rays are really fascinating to me as a stat nerd and as a baseball fan. They're fascinating to me. Now, granted, I'm an Astros fan for this, and so I have to talk about why I think we can beat them and where I think we can beat them at, which I looked at the Rays top to bottom for a couple of hours today, really thinking about this, and I couldn't find many ways to beat them, which doesn't bode well. But there are a few things that I think does play to our favor, and I'm going to talk about those few things. One, they strike out a whole lot. They were first in the AL in strikeouts in a bad way. They had I believe they had 600 and some strikeouts as an offense, which is dead last. The Astros were the best at striking out. The best at striking out. I believe we only had 440 strikeouts for the season. The Rays had about 600. They struck out a lot. That plays sort of to our advantage because we are sort of a strikeout staff. So I think that plays to us. I think another thing that can sort of play into our hands is we're not going to be in Tropicana. I can't explain it. It's not home field advantage because they don't have a ton of fans in attendance, the Rays. But for some reason, we cannot beat the Rays in Tropicana. We were 1-4 there in 2018. We were 1-4 there last year to start the year, and we were 0-2 there in the playoffs last year. I don't know why. There's no real reason to explain it. Shut up, Siri. But for some reason, we just cannot beat the Rays in Tropicana. I don't know if it's the weird dome. I don't know if it's the fact that it just kind of feels like a cheap stadium, and I only say that because I've been there a few times. But for some reason, we just cannot do anything in Tropicana Field. So I think it plays to our advantage that we're not going to have to deal with that because we're going to be in a quarantined bubble somewhere. I don't know where this is, but it's not in Tampa. I think that can play for us. I think another thing that can kind of play into our hands is we have faced this Rays team last year. We faced them in the playoffs. We faced them in the regular season. We know what their staff is. We know their pitching. We know their offense. They have not really faced this pitching staff. This is sort of reinvented. It's new, and they haven't seen even the players that we have, they haven't really seen in a while. They haven't seen McCullers in a couple years. And the last time McCullers played them, actually, he won, I believe. The last time we played them in Tropicana, I know he won. It was a 1-0 game, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. But I think that plays into our hands a bit, that we have quite a few pitchers that they have never faced before, and stuff that it's going to be coming at them, and they don't have memory of it because they never faced it. I think another thing that could play there to our favor is that we've kind of been here before. This is our 4th straight ALCS. Our manager has been to the postseason for 5 different clubs. Kevin Cash, and I mean this as no disrespect, I want that to be very clear. I like the Rays. I'm not a fan of them by any means, and I have no real allegiance, but I like the Rays overall. It's they fascinate me, I guess is a good way to say it, and I don't want to insult them. Kevin Cash is a fantastic manager, and I would say elite so far in the MLB. But this is the deepest he's ever made it. He's never made it past the divisional round, and this is only the 2nd year he's ever made the playoffs, period. Their players have not made deep playoff runs because they haven't been a playoff team aside from the past 2 years. So I think that kind of plays to us. We've been here. We know how to get it done in the playoffs. Aside from Game 3, which a lot of people say maybe Dusty purposefully lost, we haven't lost in the postseason, and Dusty Baker hasn't really made any questionable moves outside of Game 3, which some people said we lost on purpose. That is a theory that's floating around in Astros circles. I don't believe it. I don't not believe it. But that is a theory that is out there. So I think that could also play into our hands, that we have a manager that's experienced, and Dusty Baker, aside from Game 3, like I said, and really it's just a couple of moves in Game 3, has been superb this postseason. I think that helps us. I think another thing that we need to do if we want to win realistically is we have to attack them early. Their starters are really good, but they're not fantastic. Whereas that bullpen, their bullpen is lethal. They had quite a few players that their ERA plus is just over 180, which is fantastic. They have a pitcher in their rotation. I don't remember who it is, but I believe his ERA plus is 760 something. It's absurdly high. It's kind of insane. So I think if we want to get a lot of scoring, we need to do it early. And our offense has been rolling, so I think that is also an advantage. And then, we, like I said, we've been there. If you look at our lineup, George Springer's won a World Series with us. Altuve's won the World Series with us. Michael Brantley was there for last year's pennant run. Bregman's won the series with us. Correa's won it with us. Yuli's won it with us. Tucker was there for the pennant last year in the playoffs the year before that. Reddick won it with us. Maldonado won it with us. And then if you want to put a Diaz or a Straw also in the outfield / DH-ish area, they both were there for the pennant run last year. So again, we have a team that's been there. Our pitchers haven't, but our batters and our offense really have been there quite a few times, and we know how to do it in the postseason. I think we also kind of like the moniker of underdogs and having the chip on our shoulder, which we've had all postseason, and we played really well with that chip on our shoulder, so I think we need to continue that. Ultimately, I don't think we have the advantage in this series. I truly see the Rays as a better overall team, but I see the Astros maybe as more hungry, which I know is kind of weird to say since we've been to 4 straight ALCSs. But I think here's the thing. Yes, I do believe the Rays outclass us in most categories, but I don't think this is going to be a quick series. I believe 2 things with all of my heart about this series. 1, it's going to 7. If the Astros win it, it's going to 7, and if the Astros lose it, it's going to 7. I don't see any way that this isn't going the distance. This is going to be, the way I'm viewing it and the way I see this is going to be a hard-fought, bloody, tooth and nail, just beating of each other. This is going to be kind of a clash of titans, is how I'm looking at it. And also, I'm saying this and I'm probably going to be wrong, I feel like whoever wins this series is probably going to win the whole thing. The Rays are the class of the MLB and the Astros are super hungry, and if the Astros beat the class of the MLB, I mean, I can really see them just not wanting to slow off of that adrenaline and just keeping the foot on the gas and going through either the Dodgers or Braves. And that's not an insult to the Dodgers or the Braves, by the way. That's just, I view these teams really as, the Rays are just a cut above everyone, and I think the Astros would have momentum if they beat that team that's a cut above everyone. So yes, I do think there is a good chance the Astros win this. Would I be shocked if we lost it? Not entirely, but I also would not be shocked if we won it. I think it's really close, like 55-45 in favor of the Rays if I had to guess, like if I was just spewing my opinion, but it's really close. These are good teams, and I think this is going to be an incredible series. So yeah, the first game is tomorrow at 6:37 Central Time. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Stros.